Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. What we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at our 2025 to 2026 Georgia Bulldogs football team. We're going to look at their entire 25 schedule. We're going to go game by game. We're going to break down every single game, look at the matchup, the offense, the defense, the pieces they added from last year's team, the pieces they lost from last year's team, and try to predict the outcome for every single game, which games they're going to win, which games they might lose, and what their final record might be. The big question for all of you Bulldogs fans is, hey, are they going to make the college football playoff again, back-to-back seasons? Do they have a real shot to not just win the SEC? That's great, but they want to win the national championship. This is Kirby Smart, back-to-back. He's won 2 national champions. He wants another national championship. He wants to put himself up there in the Saban conversation, especially because Saban's gone. It is up for grabs right now. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? What are your thoughts on these games? What do you think is going to happen to this 2025 Georgia Bulldogs team? Make sure to drop it below, and I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look at the pinned comment below. We have 3 different tiers to sign up with. Whoever signs up, definitely thank you. For you guys that have signed up, massive appreciations and shout out to you guys as well. So we're going to be going over every game this all season for all these teams, just trying to break them down. Once the college football season starts, we go over every game for every single team. We do picks, we do predictions, we do best bets, money lines, spreads, over-unders. If you're a football fan, college football fan, NFL fan, because we do it for NFL as well, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to drop me a comment. Let's not waste time. Let's talk about this Georgia team. So obviously, you have Kirby Smart here. You have Mike Bobo coming back. Bobo is back again. I have not been a fan of the way that Bobo calls his offensive plays. I don't think he runs a real modern style of offense. And I honestly think that really held Carson back last season. Yes, Georgia did lead all of college football in drop passes. That obviously doesn't help, but I don't think he puts the quarterback in a position to succeed. He does not coach to the strengths of his players. Carson Beck feeds off that play action. He needs the run game. Georgia, their run game was atrocious last season. Great line, great running backs. They're all highly 4-5-star players. You got to line up. You have to be able to run the ball, dominate the line of scrimmage. That's going to open up the pass game. Carson Beck wants to push the ball down the field with the play action pass. Let him do that. Carson Beck, he left, he transferred. That news dominated the offseason. He's going to be going to Miami. Shannon Dawson, they're going to play to his strengths. He's probably going to put up great numbers there, but he's in the past. He's gone from Georgia. That doesn't matter now. You do have a coach that's won back-to-back natties. He's been to the top of the mountain. He knows what it takes to win. Georgia's defense last season was not a typical Kirby Smart defense. They did take a couple steps back, but obviously with the talent on the team, this is a top 3 overall roster. Some might say it is the number 1 overall roster. They're going to have no issues filling holes. They had 12 players go off to the draft last season. They had a lot of pieces transfer out, but nonetheless, this team is going to be extremely talented. You have Gunnar Stockton taking over on the offensive side. Kirby Smart went into the transfer portal. He brought in, let's say, Zachariah Branch at the wide receiver position from USC. This guy was a 5-star coming out of high school. The perfect slot player. If you could build a slot player for the college football ranks, it would be Branch. It's just unfortunate you have Bobo calling plays. You wish you had a more modern, spread, up-tempo, air raid / run style of football, because he would be pushing the ball to Branch in space nonstop. Think like Lincoln Riley did, especially. Let this guy return kickoffs. He's one of the best kickoff. He's one of the best kick specialists in the country. He's going to run at least 1 or 2 back this season. That is at least right now. But overall, this is going to be a much improved offense. Branch, Bell, Colby Young. You have Delt back at the tight end position. What about Gunnar Stockton? Gunnar Stockton filling massive shoes here. Carson Beck. Think of Gunnar Stockton like this. He's a passing quarterback, yes, but he's a dual threat quarterback. He's going to help with the run game for Georgia because he's a quarterback that can actually run. He can extend plays with his legs. He can hustle. He can scramble out of the pocket, still keeping his eyes down the field, and he can run for that first down. Think 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4th. You have to not just think about the pass. You have to look at the running backs. You have to look at a mobile quarterback. He completely changes the way that defenses are going to be approaching this Georgia Bulldogs team. But Bobo, you got to put this guy in positions to succeed. A young quarterback hasn't played too much football, and right out of the gate, this is a very difficult schedule. But thankfully for Georgia, all of the tough teams they play are coming to Athens this season. That definitely sets up. We know Georgia, they're not afraid to play anyone. They'll play any team, anytime, anywhere in the nation. It just happens to set up the season that they're drawing a lot of those tough teams to their home field. So it's going to give them the edge there. But let's start going game by game. They're going to start out the season here. It might not look like a tough out-of-conference game on paper, but when you look a little deeper, it is. Saturday, August 30th versus the Marshall Thundering Herd. Don't forget Marshall last season. They went 10-3. They were the Sun Belt Conference champions. Are they going to be able to put up a fight versus Georgia? Probably highly unlikely. Not going to happen. Don't forget Marshall. Like half the team set out the bowl game to where they had to back out of their bowl game because they could not field a roster. This team was completely picked clean. I hate that about the transfer portal, but it is what it is. That's the new style of college football. Georgia's probably going to beat the crap out of them here, but this is a good gauge, kind of a starting factor to kind of set what the ground's going to be for Georgia. This is Gunnar Stockton's first game starting this season, so it's what are his reps? How does this offense look with the new transfers? How does the defense look with the new transfers, with the young 4- and 5-star guys? So it's not a sign of SEC play, but it's a building block, setting that foundation for the next games coming up. Look for Georgia to win this game pretty big. I have them winning this one 47-10, and they're 1-0. And then the very next game for Georgia, Saturday, September 6th versus Austin Peay. This is a game. This is a cupcake game. It is what it is, but it's more reps for goodness sake. Get as many reps, get as many cupcakes, because SEC play is on the horizon, and it gets tough right off the bat. You don't get to play Kentucky or Vanderbilt. You get hit with top 25 SEC matchups right out of the gate. Georgia's going to dominate this game. Get the starters out first half. Get them out as soon as you can. Keep this team healthy. Let the backups get a lot of reps in here. You're going to need them down the stretch. SEC conference play is very difficult. It wears down a lot of guys. Georgia, they're going to curb stomp this team. I'm thinking it's going to be, let's say, a 54-6 dominating win. They started out the season. They're now 2-0. If you would have called this game a couple months ago, this next game coming up Saturday, September 13th at Tennessee, very difficult place to play. Going to Tennessee, going to Knoxville, playing Josh Heupel, one of the best offensive minds in modern college football. He runs that up-tempo spread air raid slash. They still run a lot of offense. They're going to get the ball to the playmakers in space. They're going to be able to score no matter who their starting quarterback is. Bring some guy in off the street. You know Heupel's going to have an efficient offense. They actually had a top 10 defense last season as well. Top 10 tackles for loss, sacks, quarterback pressures. They were getting after it, but they lost some guys to the portal. They sent a lot of players off to the NFL. What is this new Tennessee Volunteers team looking like? I would have honestly picked them to win 2-3 months ago, but Nico transferred out. Not saying Nico was good. He was a 5-star quarterback, but he did not look very good last season. But at least he was a veteran guy in this scheme, in this system. He's gone, so obviously they had to swap quarterbacks with UCLA. They're bringing in a new guy here, so he doesn't have that many reps here in this scheme, in this system, as much time, and he's going to be playing Georgia, third week of the season. That does not bode well for Tennessee, but I think Heupel, he's going to play to his player strength, something that Bobo doesn't do. I hate trashing on Bobo, guys, but it is what it is. At least Josh Heupel knows how to call plays. His offense is going to be efficient. It's going to be clean. They're going to keep the turnovers down. The Tennessee defense should keep this game respectable. But I think Georgia's going to win it in the end. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring, close game. Give me Georgia winning this one 26-23-0, a good top 25 win here. And some might say that this is Kirby Smart kryptonite. The next game, Saturday, September 27th, versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is a tough game. Kirby Smart, what does he beat Alabama like once or twice over his career as the head coach at Georgia? He really needs this win, but yet he also doesn't need it because he still has no issue winning the SEC, getting the playoffs, winning national championship. But for your own personal pride, this isn't a Saban team anymore. You can beat these guys. You should have beat them last season. Kalen DeBoer is the new head coach there. He needs to massively improve over the Alabama team that we saw from last season. They could not run the ball. They could not dominate in the trenches on the offensive line with that defensive front seven. They didn't have a good defense last season. Their run game was not good in any way whatsoever. That was with a running quarterback last season. Jalen Merrill could not help out the run game. Ty Simpson probably going to be the guy this season. Young quarterback getting his first reps against this Georgia defense. It is going to be tough for them. Grubbs is coming over as the offensive coordinator. That is DeBoer's guys. They're going to go back to a DeBoer-style offense, vertically push the ball down the field. They're going to be aggressive in their passing attack. They are going to test Georgia's secondary. I think Alabama's going to be much better than they were last season. Georgia fans, you are going to hate me. I have you guys losing this one. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I think the curse continues. It doesn't throw your season out. Don't click off now. Don't get riled up. This didn't hurt you last season. It's not going to hurt you now. You lose this one. You drop to 3-1. I think it's a very close game, though, thinking like a 30-27, 30-28 game. It is within a one-possession game. Georgia loses this one. They are 3-1. But with your young quarterback, you get to use this as a building block going forward. He learns how to play in the close games, and this is going to benefit you down the stretch this season. And then you have this next game Saturday, October 4th versus Kentucky. Georgia fans might be saying, what do you mean versus Kentucky? Like that's some tough game. For some reason, Kentucky always plays Georgia really close. Georgia always finds a way to win, but something about Stoops over there, he always has a disciplined team. He plays at the line of scrimmage. They are physical, and they have a good defense. They concentrate on the run, which just means that they play time of possession football. They keep the ball out of Georgia's offense's hands. They always play Georgia close, but Georgia still always wins the game. Don't worry, guys. I have you winning this one. I have you dominating the late third, fourth quarter. That's where you take this game over. You win this one 24-17. You're 4-1. But the bigger news to me is Gunnar Stockton, as a first-year starter now, is learning how to win these close games. And this next game is actually going to be a lot closer than it looks on paper right now. Saturday, October 11th at Auburn. Going to Auburn. Do not underestimate Auburn here. Hugh Freeze, he's beaten the big schools before. He's an experienced veteran coach. He's been working the portal. He's been recruiting. Some people are giving Auburn right now a top 5 wide receiver core. The big issue for them last year, the year before, hasn't been the wide receiver core. It's been the quarterback position. He thinks he found his guy, Jackson Arnold, transferring over from Oklahoma. Anyone who watched Oklahoma last season, Jackson Arnold was in no way a threat. You couldn't take the guy serious, but he was a 5-star coming out of high school, and he did beat Alabama. He actually beat the crap out of Alabama last season. So you got to respect him. He's beaten big teams before. He's a highly decorated quarterback. Maybe the change in scenery, change in system is going to fit his strengths a lot more. Auburn actually had a really good defense last season. Great wide receiver core. They were missing the quarterback position. If they have the answer, potential upset alert, dark horse game here. I think it's going to be close. Auburn is a very difficult place to play, especially if this is a night game. It's going to be a wild game. Auburn, difficult schedule this year. I have Georgia pulling off a very low-scoring game, but it's going to be Georgia's defense, turnovers, special teams that makes the difference here. I have the Bulldogs winning this game in a very low-scoring game, 24-13, but all that matters is the win column, and you are 5-1 right now. And do we potentially have a revenge game next Saturday, October 18th versus Ole Miss coming to Georgia here? Ole Miss, the Rebels, Lane Kiffin. You know Lane Kiffin can call offenses. They're going to be dinking and dunking. They're going to be running. They're going to be spreading the ball out. They're going to be high-flying. They're going to score some points. They had a top 10 offense last season. Trey Harris is gone. Jackson Dart is gone. They're having to replace pieces at the running back position, wide receiver, quarterback. Austin Simmons coming in. Highly decorated quarterback here. He might fit Lane Kiffin's scheme perfectly. You know Kiffin's going to have the offense. Where does Ole Miss's defense look? They had a top 10 defense last season. They lost some pieces to the NFL. They've been working the portal. They've been recruiting out of high school, but do we see a step back? More than likely, but is it a step back from, let's say, number 8 nationally to number 13? That's all right. Or does it go from 8 to maybe 34? Still a good defense, but not as good as last season. Ole Miss beat Georgia last season because of that defensive front seven, the D-line, the linebackers, consistent, constant pressure the entire season, causing havoc back there. What's going to happen here with Georgia losing this one? I think there's the revenge factor. Georgia comes out that offense. This is a shootout game, but I have the Bulldogs winning it 34-30. High-scoring game. Georgia 6-1. And this is one of the unknown games here that kind of makes you scratch your head because you don't really know how this one's going to turn out. Saturday, November 1st, we have the Florida Gators. This is the Jacksonville. This is the Cocktail Bowl. You're going to have the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Florida Gators, one of the best rivalries in college football. What is it? The largest outdoor cocktail party. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be rabid. The big question marks about Florida is DJ Lagway. He's been up and down the entire offseason health-wise. He's fully healthy right now. Is he fully healthy by the time that we get to this game? If he is, watch out because Florida might have beat Georgia last season if DJ Lagway doesn't get knocked out of the game. They might have won that one, but things happened the way they did. He got knocked out. Georgia pulled off the win. Billy Napier. How is Billy Napier's seat looking at this time? What I mean by is his seat on complete sun-scorched earth fire, or has he answered the call again? They won 8 games last season. He's on the hot seat still. He has to at least win 8 to me this season. If he takes a step back this year, he's getting fired. He has to win 8 plus to retain his job. How is this team looking? Are they sitting at 3-4 wins right now? Teams lost heart, but they're still fighting, or are they riding high? A lot of momentum. They have a very difficult schedule. What is their momentum at this point? That's the unknowns here. We don't know it. I think Georgia's going to play a lot better than they did last season. Keep your eye on this. Neutral site game, it should scare the hell out of you, and that honestly makes perfect sense. It is a rivalry game. Take the records, throw them out the window, but I have the Bulldogs winning it. 27-24, the Bulldogs pull off the win, 7-1. Circle this game, though, because for some reason it does have upset potential written all over it. And this next game, there's not much to say here. Saturday, November 8th at Mississippi State. Levy's team here completely had to flip the roster last season. They got to flip it again this season. They're not going to be good at offense, defense, special teams, kicking. They really have no strengths right now. I hate to say this. This is a given win. Georgia's going to dominate here. They win this one 47-18, and they are 8-1. And Saturday, November 15th, this might be one of the best games of the season. This could be number 1 versus number 2. This is probably going to be at least be a top 10, maybe even a top 5 on 5 matchup. You have the Texas Longhorns coming to Athens this season. Texas could not beat Georgia to save their life. When they had a chance, Georgia would not let them grasp it last season. If Bama is Georgia's kryptonite, Georgia is definitely Texas's kryptonite. You have Arch Manning. This team is probably going to be the number 1 team heading into the upcoming season. How long will they retain that? We don't know. They have the Buckeyes right off the bat. We'll be able to see some things. Then we haven't seen that much from Arch Manning. He has started some games. He has some reps. Can he live up to the massive Manning hype? That's a massive mantle to have to carry on your shoulders. What happens this season, we won't know till we actually get to see it. That's the unknown variables. But I'm going to go with Texas actually pulling this game off. Higher scoring game. They win it 30-24. Texas wins this game. Georgia drops to 8-2. No one panic. Like I said, do not click off. You are 8-2. If you win 10 games, you're in the playoffs no matter what. You still have a shot here to rematch with the Texas Longhorns. And you know Sarkisian has a lot of issues beating Kirby Smart. Coming off that loss, coming off that just gauntlet of a schedule that you went through the last 5 or 6 games, you need a little bit of a cupcake. That's what you have here. Saturday, November 27th versus Charlotte. Georgia's going to dominate this game. This is the rebound game. They're going to take their anger out on Charlotte as they're getting ready to potentially make it to the SEC championship. They're going to win this game easily, 52-14. They're 9-2. And then we have another neutral site game. This is the last game of the regular season, Saturday, November 29th, versus the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Do not roll your eyes. Don't think you're just going to roll through this game. This was an 8 overtime game last season. Crazy game. One of the craziest games I've seen in my life. A lot of people think Georgia Tech got robbed. There was some highly questionable calls there at the end that went Georgia's favor. But it is what it is. Let's not say anything happened. It did. It happened. Georgia won the game. That's the way it works. Sometimes it goes in your favor. Sometimes it doesn't. Georgia, they're not going to get caught sleeping here. They were sleeping on this game last season. Georgia Tech, they're going to be healthy. Haynes King is back. You have King. They're going to be running the ball. They're going to be one of the better rushing teams in the nation. They're going to have a 1,000-yard running back. They're going to have a quarterback who could potentially have 1,000 yards on the ground. Time of possession, ground and pound. They're going to be competitive, but I think Georgia actually shows up this game. They take this serious. They beat Georgia Tech. I have them winning a very close one here, 28-23. I have the Georgia Bulldogs finishing the regular season 10-2. That might set you up perfectly to make the SEC championship. So no matter what, I do think you will make the playoffs again this season. You will still be competitive. You will still have a shot to make the national championship. You might even make the SEC championship. And we know if Georgia makes the SEC championship, there's an extremely high chance that they're going to win it no matter what, and they're going to get that bye week. Guys, that's our predictions for our 25-26 Georgia Bulldogs football team. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? What are your thoughts on these predictions? What are your thoughts on the Georgia Bulldogs this season? Let me know below, and I will make sure that I respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, make sure to check out the pinned comment below. Like I said, there is 3 tiers if you sign up. Thank you guys for signing up. And of course, as always, to everyone, thank you for watching.